it's Kim here at Good Vibe Astrology, and today I'm talking about the astro-weather from the first quarter moon to the full moon. There's a lot going on, so we're going to jump right into it. If you like the channel, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that alerts button, and you won't miss any of these astro-weathers. For Aries, it's a powerhouse week, and your key word is going to be friendship. Those that you feel are birds of a feather, your clan, your tribe, and those who maybe once were but are not so much anymore. You're going to get out the pruners and cut dead wood. The important thing is to know when to stop, because you can get in this whirlwind mode of trimming back relationships that are no longer fulfilling, or you feel like you're the enabler or they're enabling habits that you want to change. Whatever reason, you want to create stronger boundaries around your life and your connections with others. The key is not getting carried away, because once you start pruning that rose, pretty soon it's just going to be a nub on the ground. It's important to recognize when a relationship is worth saving, is worth keeping, is worth putting time and love and energy into. That'll be one of your big insights and inspirations. The other cool thing happening for you is that your ruler Mars, this is what gives you your drive and your kick and your desire to get moving and set new goals, set really difficult goals so you feel like life is a challenge. That's being amplified by what we call Draconic Jupiter. If you're curious about the Draconic zodiac, I'll put a link in the description. But meanwhile, just know this is a time of expansion, and if you've got a lot of energy to burn, don't just sit on your hands. You got to get out there and move the body, stimulate the mind, and release the emotions. For Taurus, you also have an added emphasis where the Draconic full moon falls across Taurus and Scorpio. If you want an explanation for this, go ahead and look at the description. There'll be a link to my article on the Draconic zodiac. But meanwhile, just know that there's more emotion, more at stake, more urgency in the feeling that you have to create change. It's like you can't tolerate something anymore, things that you've been putting up with that just don't sit right, and you're spending so much energy pushing that back, pushing it down, trying to get along, trying to smooth things over, and you just can't do it anymore. Go ahead and let things blow up if that's what needs to happen. And also, if it's immutable, if it's a situation that you can't immediately foresee any way to experience differently, you take control and find a different perspective, find a different way to see it so that it no longer irritates you. Finding that sense of relief and getting back to peace and serenity is going to be wonderful. It's going to be soothing for the soul, and you'll find your life moves forward with a lot more ease. Geminis are going to find a powerful week where things start to really feel like they're moving forward. This is because your ruler, Mercury, is finally out of the retrograde shadow zone at 4 degrees of Leo. We are back to where Mercury was before all this retrograde energy started back in June. So feel like things that you began in May and early June are finally looking like they can progress. Put that to good use as you make plans, action ideas, and allow for inspiration. So you're open to ways that things can move forward again. You're going to find a strong emphasis on the home, and if you feel frustrated with anything this week, the go-to response is to not try to fix it, not try to make changes, not try to communicate and negotiate, and that. What you want to do is just go declutter a drawer or make your bed every day, if that's not something you do, but something that you might really appreciate. Do something in the home to change the feng shui, to lift the spirits within your home. And if you're not living in the home of your dreams, find 3 things every day to appreciate about the home that you do have. Even if it just begins with shelter from the cold. It can be very simple. Running hot water, cooking facilities. Really simple things that you do appreciate, and get into that space of gratitude for what you do have in the home and in the heart. And from there, your dreams will amplify. For Cancer, communication is going to be really important to you, and it's like you've been sitting on some ideas or thoughts or maybe even irritations or things that don't feel right to you, but you haven't been ready to speak up, and you'll be ready to speak up now, and you will. And the key thing to remember here is it's not your responsibility for how other people take this information. That's going to be their job. Your job is to express yourself honestly, to share your emotions, and find your emotional truth in any communication with another person. Or I'll go beyond person and say this applies also to plants, animals, and terrains. Be honest with your surroundings. Be honest with your environment. And I know that might sound a little bit weird, but it's just a way to get back into alignment with yourself and be true with yourself. This can begin with your own internal dialogue, where your self-talk and really listening to your higher guidance comes into play. So if you find yourself a little worried or concerned about how a conversation may go or how a situation may go, relax, take a deep breath, exhale, and stay true to yourself. And that is going to pave the way for the resolutions that you want to experience. For Leo, this is a very powerful time. Of course, it's going to be all about relationships with the full moon in Aquarius in your house of personal one-to-one significant others. Also, we have Mercury, Sun, Venus, and Mars, and Juno in the sign of Leo. So it's a really powerful time for you. Now, these powerful moments when there's so much energy supporting what you are doing and what's significant to you in your life, these important moments can sometimes turn into a bit of a quandary, or you can even feel a bit down because you'll measure, okay, how far have I come? Am I really utilizing my energy? Is my creativity or my relationships? Is my life a true reflection of what I want to experience? And sometimes the answer is no. It feels like contrast. Ooh, what's out there isn't lighting me up. And if that's the case, instead of getting bogged down in it, see it as an illumination. See it as a springboard towards change, towards finding a different perspective, towards moving forward in a direction that is more authentic to you. So we drop blame, drop blaming circumstances or finances or opportunities or, missed connect. Stop blaming anything for the present and be grateful that you have this point of awareness coming through to you right now, and use this contrast if there is any. If you're feeling any contrast at all, use it as buoyancy. Use it to spring into a new direction, a new adjustment, a new way of approaching that's going to bring change, and I mean change for the better. For Virgo, there's a lot lining up right now because so many planets are about to transition into your sign, and you can feel it. It's almost like this big wave coming up behind you, and it can be urgency to get things done, to put things out there, to work on content, to work on job application, to work on a relationship, to work on your health and well-being and diet. It feels like, what can I fix? And the most important thing for you to realize at this time, building up to the full moon in Aquarius, is that there's nothing broken. Says Abraham Hicks says, there's nothing broken, there's nothing to fix. We haven't come here to right wrongs. We've come here to be. And you are a human being. And instead of a human doing, you can take a deep breath and find what feels good to you. Find what feels nurturing to you. Find the perspective that lights you up. And really notice when you are engaged with what makes you smile, because this time building up to your birthday, to the solar return, and all these planets that are going to be in Virgo, is a chance for you to be more of who you are and get your life kicked up into gear where it makes you smile more than it does now. And that may be a lot more if you've got a long ways to go, or it may just be the cherry on top. Whichever it is, you're headed towards this uplifting time. And to prep for that, to prepay for that, you want to relax about having the to-do list, relax about any urgency, and just breathe and find fun things to do. It sounds like a crazy recipe, but this is what works. For Libra, this is a time of finding balance in a lopsided relationship. This may be a relationship with offspring, with parents, with peers, with coworkers, with bosses, with lovers, partners, collaborators. It's limitless. The criteria is that it's a connection that matters to you and it's been out of whack. So look at this week for opportunities where you can restore balance, you can restore meaning. And this may be letting go of a grudge, or it may be expressing yourself in the red hot moment. It may be that you let go of this relationship completely to open the door to bring it back into you in a new way. So don't judge how things might unfold in the immediate future, but realize that what's going on is a chance to balance. What's going on is a chance to balance your relationship in a way that hasn't been done before. If this is a friendship that wants to move to a new territory, a new level, and become more intimate, it's going to be a time to take that step. So be open, be creative, be open to romance and dazzle and sparkle in your relationships, and any connection that's been suffering or held down or felt not quite right, be open to a healing. For Scorpio, it's a feisty week coming up with the build towards the full moon and a lot of contrasting energy where it feels like you want to move forward and you're running into obstacles. It's important that you can step back and see these perceived obstacles as nothing more than springboards or buoyancy or maybe extra propulsion in a particular direction. Sometimes running into those detours or those stop signs is just what we need to get clear on where we really want to go and who we want to go there with. So if it feels like there are setbacks or deterrents, relax, breathe, and find a way to communicate what it is you're feeling. We've got a lot of planets making challenging aspects to your Scorpio sun, not to mention the draconic full moon is in the Taurus and Scorpio axis. If you want to know more about draconic astrology, the draconic zodiac, I've got a link that will explain it. It's in the description. But meanwhile, check in with your feelings and don't sit on them. It's really important that you express and find ways to express that are true to you, as in for all the water signs this week. Develop, support, and maintain a sense of emotional integrity and emotional honesty. It's going to bring about change that gives you a chance to feel more authentic in your connections. For Sagittarius, your ruling planets, Jupiter and Neptune both, have been in a square aspect for almost a year, and you might be getting a little bit sick of it. It's a feeling like every time you move in a certain direction, there's a red flag or something comes up. Things are going well and there are opportunities and you can see them further down the track, but it seems like there's this immediate obstacle or this immediate push that you're not sure how to navigate. This week, building up to the full moon, you're going to get insights into that. So tune in and go ahead and ask higher guidance for awareness around this new path or this new way of understanding your circumstances so that you can be proactive. You can move in the direction that you want to go. It's possible that you're working on a community project or working with a sibling or someone partway related, and the chance for a successful collaboration, and I don't just mean artistically successful, practically successful, but I mean financially successful as well. The opportunity for that is building up, and the key is to release any emotional stress or any energy that you're harboring, any words unsaid that feel like they need to be let go of, or maybe they need to be said. You decide. The idea is to purge a little bit, let things out, better out than in. And from that point, you move forward into a feeling of new opportunity and new expansion. For Capricorn, we are building towards that powerhouse time in January where your ruler is conjunct Pluto exact. The thing that Capricorn wants to do to really support this is to have a plan. Have a plan that not only for the week, as you build up to this full moon where you're going to release any tolerations, you're going to release anything that's been nagging or bugging you so that you feel like you move into the rest of the month with a kind of a clean slate where you've gotten something off your chest. You're also building with a plan towards 2020. And usually I don't look this far ahead, but for you, it's important that you go ahead and expand your goals, to aim your sights higher, to shoot for more than you've been shooting for. And with that expanded goal, you're going to feel new enthusiasm and a new sense of self-worth that's actually going to expand your life. For Aquarius, this is a really exciting time of the year where the full moon lands on your sun sign. This can be an extraordinary time of renewal and feeling like you are shedding old weights and old beliefs and old perspectives, and maybe even some old tangible junk that's going to get you moving forward in a new way. And at the same time, it feels like all four pillars of your life, self, relationship, home, and career, are being scrutinized. And the key to turning this into something valuable for yourself that you can utilize is to be very kind to yourself, to be supportive and optimistic, to treat yourself as you would your own best friend, so that as you examine the way you move out into the world, as you examine how you connect with other people and loved ones, when you think about what your career, mission, profession is in life and how fulfilling it is for you, when you go into the depths of your soul and the feeling of emotional security that you find in your home, in your sanctuary, as you look at these things, don't nag, don't find fault, don't criticize. It's just observe. Observe and allow from that observation new desires to rise up. Do you want a change in the home? Do you want to feel a different sort of environment or terrain or just sense of being? Is your career ready for an upgrade or a sideways grade, a shift? Maybe you have to downshift a bit to move forward. That happens on the road. Maybe something about your appearance you want to change just to reflect more of who you are now as opposed to who you were 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. And good old relationships, looking at them as the mirrors held up to us by the gods so that you can understand more of who you are. Use this time for insights and inspiration. If you're inclined at all to indulge in self-criticism, just cut that out because it's not going to get you further along the path. For Pisces, one of the strongest things that you're working towards in this next week, building up to the release of the full moon, is examining where you stand on your own in life. How do you take care of yourself? To what degree are you self-sufficient as opposed to needing the help of others? There's no right or wrong in the examination. You just look at where the balance lies. And it's possible that you're going to want to be a little more independent, a little more able to call your own shots. And this can surprise people if you've been in more cooperative or collaborative relationships or connections through work, etc. It might be time to do a little retreat and work on your own. This means also having an income stream that is yours alone. If everything has been shared or you've been responsible for others and others' bills or well-being, I'm just thinking kids, but there's other circumstances where that's the case. You're going to want to be a little more tuned into yourself and looking after yourself financially and emotionally this week. Check your boundaries. Check where they need strengthening and where you may be enabling others by your generosity, enabling them by always doing what you believe they want you to, or you believe will make them happy, or you believe that they expect in you. Go ahead and don't be afraid to disappoint someone when it means being true to yourself, standing in your own integrity. It's going to make a huge difference on how the next few months unfold. All right, everyone, I hope that gives you a boost and a bit of insight into this lead up to the full moon. Lots of love, everyone. Bye.